So I said, David who? And he said, David Lynch. He said, Elephant Man. And I hadn't seen Elephant Man. So I went out and got a tape of it and played it on my video. And I had this funny gut sensation. We had the guy who could do it. When you're doing a film, you're from the written word, you're translating into a different language. It's as though you were translating from English to Swahili. The visual language is a different language. And there was such subtlety and such beauty in The Elephant Man. I've seen it now about 8 times, I think, and I get something new out of it each time. Something peripheral or something right in the mainstream that was done visually as a visual metaphor. I've never told David this, but this is true. This is what happened to me. I had this gut sensation. I said, we've got him. The guy who can do it.
I'm glad we're having this talk. David, did you, as a filmmaker, I think by anyone's estimation, Dune was written very visually. I mean, as a piece of literature. The visual description, just the visualization of it, is very immediate. Did that help you in your translation to the screen?
Well, like I said, I really, in a way, forget a lot of the book now because there have been so many drafts of the screenplay in between. But some things, I really think, in your mind, you think that Frank, described things. But when you go searching, some things are described, of course, but a lot of things are left to, your imagination, even in the book. And
that was deliberate, I might add.
And you get a feeling, and then your mind takes over from there. And so when a lot of times we'll go searching for descriptions of things, they weren't there. Or I realized that I was picturing something, and I was, falling in love with, what I was picturing. And so, like I said, Frank allowed me to, to go with, my interpretation in how things looked. And because of that, I was able to, it was not, my interpretation was one thing. And then I started working with Tony, and we went through 2 or 3 different steps into sort of the stratosphere of interpretation, and we got clicking on 4 really nifty different worlds and the look of each one.
So the motion picture is truly an entity unto itself.
Yeah.
If you love the book, you'll love the motion picture even more because it takes on a new dimension.
I can see how everyone who reads the book is going to interpret it, and their interpretation is not mine. But I have to, it has to go through me as the director's like I always say, like a filter, and things pass through me, and it's not going to be other people's interpretation. Some people may love it, and some people say it's not what they pictured and they would be disappointed. That's the way it is.
Again, the book being so visual, some people, anyone who's read it has been there before.
Exactly.
Yeah. What about the tools that you had to employ as a filmmaker, especially a modern filmmaker in this day and age? What did you do? What did you have fun with?
Every technique known to filmmaking has been used on this picture. Except for stop motion, strangely enough, but every other kind of thing. And so I've learned a tremendous amount of technical things. We've built over about 80 sets in what amounted to 16 sound stages down in Mexico. We've traveled all over the world. Rafael and I, Rafael de Laurentiis is the producer. First looking for locations and finally going to Mexico. I've seen actors, for this picture all over the world, and people in this film are from all over the world. The crew is from all over the world. At one point, there was 1,700 people on the crew, and that's a huge amount of people. And sometimes I'd turn around on the set, there'd be 600 people. They're not extras, crew people or visitors or camera crews or whatever, on the set. So it's been a strange experience, but a huge, fantastic experience.
What are some of the techniques
Go ahead. I want to add a little bit to this. A very strange thing happened at the rap party down in Mexico. At least a dozen of the actors and actresses who were in it came up to me and said individually more or less the same thing, that they were sorry it was over, they had such a good time.
So it wasn't necessarily a grueling experience that drove everyone insane.
No, we were really together. It was a great experience, and we were in a foreign world. We were in Mexico City, which is I will always feel the perfect place to make Dune, because Dune is a foreign world and four foreign worlds. And if I was making in Arizona, it would be too normal. Mexico City was just the right atmosphere and right mood to kind of it was to help your mind get out there, into Dune.
There was a certain kind of rapport between the producer and director. We had our disagreements, but they weren't major disagreements. They weren't shouting disagreements or anything like that. If you could explain your point, people listened to you. The only time that I objected to something that was going to be done, David and Rafaela and everybody else listened to me, and they didn't do the thing that I didn't want done.
Can't remember what it was.
You weren't going to kill off.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, it's the only thing I ever objected
right,
to.
Exactly, yeah.
Did he kill them off then?
No. Yeah, they did.
Oh, you
But
wanted
in the
them killed
proper
off.
way.
In the proper way, yeah.
Right, so we'll see that when we go to the motion picture.
You'll see an authentic scene that's from the book, and very poignant.
Who's going to be killed?
Let's don't tell them.
So there are two more Dune projects, potential Dune projects already
In the
already
works.
in the works.
I've started writing on the script on Dune 2, and it needs a lot more work, and then I'll show it to Frank and see what he thinks.
It'll be a tough audience. I think.
Tougher than hell.
Now, you didn't. It's interesting that Frank didn't do the screenplays for Dune. Why did that happen?
Well, I did a screenplay, and it was awful.
I never read Frank's script. I don't believe it was awful. I don't know,
It was too long. It lacked the proper visual metaphors. I was too close to the book to be able to see it as a film. David didn't have that problem. Working on this film with David has taught me one great deal about taking the printed word, a screenplay, and making it into a film. Now I feel competent to do a screenplay. I don't know if I could do a screenplay of one of my own books, but, well, yes, I can. I'm doing it.